What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and today we are rolling in the new year with the sonic boom, baby, as we talk the first Kiss album that I can remember getting in my lifetime as it came out. This is the first album I don't have to talk about in hindsight because I wasn't around. I was around when this came out. I got to buy it when it came out, and I got to see it on tour, and I got to see the tour that supported this album. So there is some nostalgia to this, and for what it's worth, I think it's a pretty solid album. And as a kid, I didn't really like it when I bought it. I was still really wrapped up in 70s Kiss, Love Gun, Rock and Roll Over, all that stuff, so I didn't really care for anything other than that. But I did have a couple songs I enjoyed. And as I've gotten older, it's grown on me, and especially sitting down to do this review series, I was pleasantly surprised with this album. And these last two Kiss albums are something different because I feel like through the 80s they're trying to keep up with the times, and the 90s they're getting heavier, and then they do the reunions, so every album is kind of trying to fill a market. Whereas with these last two, it just seemed like they went, hey, we're not trying to get new fans, we're not trying to do this, that, or the other. We're Kiss, we're gonna make rock songs, we know what our audience is. I think they really delivered with this album. Coming in at number 11, All for the Glory. And I like that Eric gets to sing. I've always liked his voice. And I just really enjoy when Kiss kind of spreads the wealth and everyone gets a little chance at a song. Don't really care for the lyrics, but not a bad song. Number 10, Say Yeah. The guitar part is fun, and it's a good time to see live, gets the energy going, but that's kind of where it sits. It's a live song. It's not what I'm going to go check out. It's not a studio recording I want to listen to. I can remember they used it, I believe, for IndyCar or Formula One, one of the two, as their intro for that season. And that's kind of what I think of when I hear that song, but other than that, nothing spectacular that I'm going to go back to. Number 9, Yes I Know. Solid Gene entry, classic Gene. He's got a good performance on this album. Nothing bad about this song, nothing great about this song. It's a good time. Number 8, Danger Us, and this is the most straightforward, just rock song on the album, and the whole album is just straight rock. Like I said, they kind of gave up on trying to go with vibes and the times. They're just making what they wanted to make, what the fans would enjoy, and this is as straightforward as it gets to that point. It's just a rock song. Not my favorite chorus. I don't really care for the lyrics, but good all-around rock song. Number 7, Stand, has a Come On and Love Me style opening riff and feel. Really good harmonies, super cringe lyrics, but a very catchy chorus. So they kind of have a callback to those other eras, and they sound like that old era of Kiss in a way, just with how they have everything set up, how the lyrics are going with the verse-chorus style. Other than the cringe lyrics, not a bad song. Number 6, Hot and Cold, and this kind of has a fun poppy vibe, especially when it gets to the chorus. It's just catchy. Got that pop feel as far as getting lyrics stuck in your head, as far as it being kind of bouncy as it goes along, if that makes sense. Really enjoyed that. Fun song. Number 5, When Lightning Strikes. I love Tommy. I love the fact that he's singing. I like it. Great harmonies. That guitar riff is great. A lot of good guitar stuff in this album for sure. Tommy does a great job lyrically, vocally, all that stuff. All around as a band, they did well. Good song, breaking into the top 5. Number 4, I'm an Animal. And it has an amazing build up to the chorus. That bridge and that pre-chorus are fantastic. It's got a heavy riff and one of the best Gene performances on the album. I really like this song. Very heavy, kind of has a revenge-esque feel, like it could have been in that era. It's just a heavier song, and it really fit on this album. And that's one thing I do like about this album that you'll see I don't necessarily care for as much in the next album following this. While this is straightforward rock and roll, it does kind of play with different little styles, or different, little heavier here, a little poppier here, a little softer here. So while they were still kick-ass Kiss rock and roll, they did have some variants in certain ways that you can kind of distinguish the songs apart. Breaking into my top 3, and this is the first Kiss song I ever saw live in my life. They opened with it, Modern Day Delilah, and it's a classic Kiss feel. Just like I've said in my past reviews, I think Kiss is one of the best bands as far as opening songs to an album, setting up the energy and the vibe for that album. This song is no different. It's fun live. It's a stretch for Paul. I'll say that. It's not his strongest vocal performance whatsoever. It is a big leap, especially when you see it live. Don't know why they decided to make it so aggressive when they know his range, but regardless, good strong riff, good vibe, great energy and start to the album. Classic song. Number 3. Number 2, to go on the opposite of what I just said, Never Enough is a very strong Paul entry. This is the best he sounds on the album, especially looking at age and stuff. At that time this was coming out, this is his best sounding song. As a whole, the band was playing great together. That broke my number 2. but it does not break my number one, which I consider the modern day X-Ray Eyes, is how I think of it. The way X-Ray Eyes makes me feel when I hear Dynasty being my number one, Russian Roulette is that Gene Simmons song to me on this album. It gives me those vibes. It's catchy, it gets stuck in my head, I find myself singing it all the time, especially the build up to the chorus. I love Gene in this song. Strong entry to the album, great song, and this is one that I do go back to a lot. Other albums, they might be a little tighter or this or that, but I don't really skip through them. This is one that I got a couple songs that I will pick through on this album, and Russian Roulette is one that I do go to. Fortunately, it's not on Spotify or anything like that because I think Walmart technically owns it and the distribution rights, so you can't really get this album on streaming, at least as far as I have found. But on YouTube, I used to have the CD, I had the poster, I had the shirt, I got all the stuff because I was alive when this one came out. I could look forward to it. I could go to the store and buy it. That was a very cool thing for me. So there'll always be a nostalgia to this album. I'll always like this album, but at the time when I heard it, I didn't really care for it. As I've gotten older, it has grown and continues to grow on me to the point when I sat down and did this review and I started to do my rankings of the albums. This one is a lot higher than I expected it to be. But guys, that's my thoughts on Sonic Boom. What is your thoughts? Did you like the return? Did you hate the return? I know some people have issues with other people putting on the makeup that aren't the original guys. They were saying do your own makeup, have no makeup, but don't try to take over that role. What's your thoughts? I think it's an all-around solid band entry to an album. If you like Kiss, you get Kiss. Put it down in the comments, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. We have one more album to go. Thank the Lord. I love Kiss, but man, it's hit a point where I was just looking at the discography, just counting down the days because I wanted to move on to something a little new. But we are there. We got one more album. Then I'll rank all the albums top to bottom. Subscribe and all that so you can keep up with it, guys. I love y'all. Y'all are the best. Peace.